Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Friday, the 25th of September. Yes, the weekend is almost here, folks. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host this morning. And in the news today, sad news that Dean Jones passed away at the age of 59. The Rugby Championship fixtures have been announced, and then we have claim and counterclaim after that. The Broncos end with unwanted record in the NBA, the Heat within one of the finals. We have results from the women's World Road Race time trial as well. And let's kick off with that time trial over there. So this is your best way to start the day up to speed with all your important sports news. And let's kick off with the UCI Road World Championships first. Anna van der Breggen won the race from Holland ahead of Marleen Reuser and Ellen van Dijk in that one. Chloe Dijgert, who was the pre-race favourite, crashed and did not finish the race in that one. There were two New Zealand cyclists involved. Georgia Williams finished 12th and Michaela Harvey came in 20th in the 51 strong field for that one. Also this weekend, we see the return of the North Island Team Cycle Series. That will start off at Alfredton, on Sunday, and that is one of 5 events as part of that series. I'm going to hand you, moving on then to cricket news. And yes, Dean Jones has unfortunately passed away due to a heart attack in Mumbai, where he's been working on coverage of the IPL. He was only 59, and the middle order batsman who played for Australia played 52 tests between 1984 and 1992, averaging 46.55, including winning the Ashes on a couple of occasions. As a one-day batsman, he won the World Cup in 1987 and played 164 one-day internationals, averaging 44.61. One of his most memorable innings was this 201 between Australia and India in 1986, when he afterwards had to be taken to hospital because of his exertions during that. Someone, I'll be honest, I don't was not during my cricketing memories, but I know a lot of people have reached out. As Stephen told me pre-show, that the Kiwis had a sort of love-hate. They love the fact that he was a very good player, but hates the fact that he did it against them as well. So yes, thoughts with his family and friends. I'm going to hand you over now to Stephen, who's going to take us through our birthdays.
Yeah, good morning, Paul. Yes, that very sad news probably mirrors the start to Auckland here this morning. A grey old day, but it will turn out nicely to about 19 degrees once this grey burns off and traffic is moving quite freely, especially over the Harbour Bridge this morning. But yeah, just on Dean Jones before I get on to birthdays, we definitely had a love-hate relationship with the guy. Wonderful, wonderful player, especially in the one-dayers. I can remember his rivalry, especially with Sir Richard Hadley back in the day. And he was a very, very good at closing out an innings, very good cricketer, very good all-round fielder, and very, just seemed like a decent bloke all round. So our thoughts and prayers go out to our friends across the Tasman, his family, and the Australian cricketing establishment. And listen, I'll just get on to birthdays this morning now. Because our New Zealand Born Glorious website is down this morning, I've decided to go international today. And there was one player or one sportsman that stood out the most. Scotty Pippen, born this day, the 25th of September, 1965, commonly known, Scottie Pippen, is a former American basketball player. Now, he played 17 seasons in the NBA, winning 6 NBA championship titles with the Chicago Bulls. Pippen, along with Michael Jordan, played an important role in transforming the Blues into one of the greatest championship teams, polarizing many who followed the league. He was considered one of the greatest small forwards of all time. Pippen was named to the NBA All-Defensive First Team 8 consecutive times and the NBA First Team 3 times. He was a 7-time NBA star and was an NBA All-Star MVP in 1994. He was named one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history during the 96-97 season and is one of 4 players to have had his jersey retired by the Chicago Bulls, the others being Jerry Sloan, Bob Love, and of course, the one and only Michael Jordan. He played a main role on both the 1992 Chicago Bulls team and the 1996 Chicago Bulls team, which was selected as the top 10 teams in NBA history. He was also part of the Olympic Dream Team in 1992, where he basically got an average of 44 points. So, just an outstanding basketball player and athlete, a true legend. Paul, that's our birthdays today. Well, we couldn't get the New Zealand website going, but hey, if we're going to go big, we'll go really big right here on New Zealand Sport Radio, mate.
Absolutely. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan's right-hand man, and perhaps because he played with the greatest player of all time, doesn't get the recognition that I think he probably deserves. But hey, 6 rings. Not many people do that, let's be honest. So there you go, folks. Yeah, Michael Jordan couldn't win a ring without him, I think is perhaps one of the things to point out there. Moving on then into rugby news, and in the Mitre 10 Cup this weekend, we'll have Wellington versus Bay of Plenty tonight, and don't forget that on Sunday we have the Taranaki will defend the Ranfurly Shield against Otago. I'll be publishing my predictions for the Mitre 10 Cup and the Farah Palmer Cup on nzsportradio.com later today. So do come and check that out. Also, yesterday we had the Rugby Championship fixtures announced. They are going to take place, or they're due to take place between the 7th of November and the 12th of December, with double headers on each day at various grounds for in Sydney and also Brisbane, also one in Newcastle as well. Now, not as soon as they came out, everyone spotted that Saturday the 12th of December would mean that the All Blacks would not be able to get back to New Zealand and out of quarantine in time for Christmas, and this has led to a bunch of claims and counterclaims across the ditch. New Zealand Rugby have said that they have not agreed to this schedule, and their understanding was the last game would be on the Saturday, the 5th of December. And the replies from across the ditch are that the only way to do that was to have a 5-week series, which both South Africa and Argentina declined, even though Australia backed around the table, and therefore it got denied twice. And Australia said that New Zealand was part of those discussions. So I say claim and counterclaim across the ditch on this one. And we're going to have to see how this pans out. But so say currently, the schedule is from Saturday the 7th of November through to Saturday the 12th of December. You might think that since it is Australia versus New Zealand in that last game, and Australia had previously agreed that, or previously backed New Zealand to have that 5th of December one, could that single game be played as a midweek fixture? But you've got to say, is player welfare on trying to play 3 games in 1 week more important, or is being at home on Christmas Day and we're arriving a day or was it 2 days after Christmas Day and having the weekend to celebrate. More important, that is something for people to have their own opinions on, and I guess for the rugby authorities to try and figure out. And Aaron gives us a good reminder that you can listen to us on the go. He is out for a walk this morning listening to us now. If you have unlimited mobile data, you can listen to obviously Facebook on the go, or you can listen to the podcast, the Search New Zealand Sports Radio on your favorite podcatcher. Also, if you become a supporter of of New Zealand Sport Radio over at patreon.com/nzsportsradio.com. Sorry, patreon.com/nzsportsradio. Then you can also listen to exclusive podcast episodes on that as well. The first one came out yesterday, which is Rugby Returns to South Africa, where myself and John O'Connor talk about the returns of Rugby Union South Africa this weekend with a Super Rugby, a double header. Going to hand you back now to Stephen for the sport that just keeps on giving, which is our NRL update. But I'm not sure whether Rugby Union should take on that mantle now after yesterday's amount of backwards and forwards.
Yeah, it's certainly giving in both codes at the moment. And speaking of giving or gave, or one of the two, the Broncos have now an unwanted record that they never set out to get at the beginning of the season. We check on games happening today, and we'll check in on the Betfred League. But we'll start with last night's game. The Broncos have picked up an unwanted record for the first time in their history in the NRL by picking up the wooden spoon in the competition. Unfortunately for the Broncos, what's been a wretched season ended probably the way this whole season has gone along, going down to the Cowboys by 32 points to 16 after the Cowboys led by 16 points to 12. That'll hurt even more because it's one of three Queensland teams that they got knocked over by last night. Now the Cowboys scored 6 tries to 3. We saw a hat trick to Kyle Felt, who scored in the 28-63rd, and again in the 70th minute. The rest of the tries coming from Justin O'Neill, Jake Clifford, and Hamiso Tabo Fidel in the 75th minute. The Flyer touching down 4 goals in a total, 3 to Valentine Holmes, 1 to Gavin Cooper. The Broncos, well, they only scored in 2 tries in the first half to Payne Haas and Darius Boyd, and Corey Oates scored in the 54th minute. Conversions to Isaac Luke and Katoni Staggs, that final score. Again, the Cowboys 32, the Broncos 12, and that was played at the Suncorp Stadium. They'll probably be quite relieved the season is over at this point in time. Not a great year to be a Broncos supporter. And games happening tonight, we've got the Titans taking on the Knights. That's at Cyber Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. That kicks off at 8 p.m. And if you've got a bit of energy before we head into the weekend, should be a beauty, this one. Although, to be honest, I don't know if there's a lot at stake with both teams in the top 8. Maybe an opportunity for the Rabbitohs to improve their position. Rabbitohs taking on the Roosters from 9:55 p.m. at ANZ Stadium this evening. And just before we go this morning, overnight, we had the Betfred League kick back into gear, and Leeds with a very good win over Hull Kingston Rovers by 41 points to 16. And in the just completed game, Salford putting away Hull Football Club by 28 points to 22. That's Salford 28, Hull Football Club 22. And we've got another game kicking off in about 15 minutes, and it's Castleford taking on Huddersfield at home. And that's all our league news today. What has been a very somber start to the morning with the passing of Dean Jones. Back to you, Paul. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back tomorrow morning with hopefully some New Zealand birthdays and more rugby league from overnight.
Thank you very much, Stephen. And yes, Huddersfield, your favourite team there. I guess you had one comment about the NRL round this round, because as you say, it is the final round. We know the final 8, and that certain teams are resting players. But if you want to know, get your preview, that obviously Brad and Ashwin this week gave you the preview of or gave you your league fix on the standoff, didn't they? And as you see there, Stephen then just does his swimming dive out the window, Dukes of Hazzard style. Have a great day, Stephen.
Cheers.
Moving on then to the golf, and over on the PGA Tour, it's the Corrales Punakasa Resort and Club Championship over there. It's the opening round, and Tim Wilkinson has finished his opening round at 2 under, and that leaves him at tied 34th overall in that one. Danny Lee, after his with his wrist injury and after his meltdown at the US Open, is taking some time off. There is no LPGA tournament this weekend for Lydia Ko, but we'll keep you up to date with how Tim Wilkinson goes in his tournament. Over in the NBA, and we had the Celtics against the Heat yesterday, and it was a tight one, with the Heat winning 109 to 112. That means it's a 3-1 lead now to the Heat over the Celtics. They just need one more to make it to the NBA Finals as the Eastern Conference champions. There today at what time is it? Today at 1 p.m. the Lakers will take on the Nuggets. The Lakers currently lead that series 2-1. You have now started the day the best way, up to speed with all the important sports news. Don't forget, folks, it's nearly the weekend, and myself and Stephen Harris will be trying to get round the Farah Palmer Cup and Mitre 10 Cup games this weekend. So do like and follow the New Zealand Sports Radio Facebook page for those post-match interviews and reports from the games.